Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim. Thanks for being here. I always appreciate the time that you and I get to spend together, so thanks for tuning in. And I hope wherever you are that you're happy, healthy, and staying safe. On today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a new shoe from Hoka. It's their Mach 5. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the Run Tall family. I'm really glad you found us here on YouTube. Now, I post running shoe reviews, comparisons, and shoe battles weekly, but I also like to post other videos related to running as well. So if you enjoy watching running shoe reviews and other videos about running, be sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be notified each time that I upload new content. Now, the Mach 5 has seen a number of updates over the previous version of this shoe, including a newly designed upper and some new midsole foam. Now, these are bold changes by Hoka, at least in my opinion anyway, because the Mach 4 was loved by so many runners, including myself. I had it in the top daily trainers of 2021. So making changes to a shoe that people already enjoy, that's a pretty bold move by Hoka. We're going to take a look at all of those changes, talk about the fit and performance, so be sure to stick around. But before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes I'm about to review for you. So let's do that. But then when we come back together, I'm going to take a real deep dive into the Hoka Mach 5. I did purchase these with my own money. They cost $140 US. I ordered mine true to size and they fit me perfectly. Now for our US men's size 9, which is what I wear, they came in at 7.7 ounces on my scales or 218 grams. Now for a women's size 8, they came in at 6.8 ounces or 193 grams. So let's start. We'll talk about the midsole first. Now here they have a spring measurement. Now this is how Hoka's been reporting their midsole foams rather than stack heights. They have 39 and 25, meaning that your heel sets off the ground 39 millimeters and your toe sets off the ground 25 millimeters. So they're measuring that spring that you get. Now in the women's version of the shoe, it's slightly different, a little bit less. They have 36 millimeters in the heel and 22 millimeters up in the forefoot. Now the midsole is a dual density foam system. So on the top layer, they have a softer foam, and then in the bottom layer, they have a rubberized EVA foam that also doubles as the outsole. Now that hasn't changed from last year's version. The big change is that top layer. They went from ProFly to ProFly Plus. The ProFly Plus foam is a softer foam to land on than the ProFly foam that we found in the Mach 4. But it's not so soft that you feel like you're kind of slamming into that rubberized EVA foam, but it does a really good job of absorbing your impact, but you still have plenty of spring or bounce back as you move through your gait. And I really enjoy the feeling in the ride of this shoe. Now, I loved the Mach 4, but I love running in these even a little bit more. And I don't normally do first impressions videos, which is exactly what this is, because I don't have a ton of miles in these. I will have by the end of the week, because I plan to run all week in these. And that's one of the things that I love about this shoe, is it just feels like it can do it all. Now, my first run in these was doing some speed work down at my local track, but I'm going to be taking them out for an easy run, recovery run, as well as doing some more speed work and a long run. So I plan to run in these all week. So it won't be long, and I'll be bringing you a 50-mile review, a much more full or extensive review after logging additional miles. And at that point, we can take a look at that rubberized EVA outsole to see how that's holding up. And we'll talk more about some of the durability, things that may or may not come up over the next few miles. Now, these are really comfortable to run in. I'm really enjoying that dual density foam system and that ProFly Plus that they added to this shoe. One of the things that struck me is they felt good at all of the different paces that I was running. Now, in a 10-minute warm-up, when I'm going pretty slow, they felt really good. And striking the ground basically on my midfoot. But then when I moved from midfoot to forefoot, when I was picking up the pace and running the speed repeats, it also felt terrific. So it felt good at both of those paces. And I felt like I was getting a lot of spring or toe off as I moved through my gait cycle to give me a little extra boost as I was running those speed repeats. But then when I was cooling down at the end of the workout and going back to that midfoot again, it also felt terrific. So these are a shoe that I think is going to be a good choice if you're looking for just one shoe that could do it all. So let's flip these over and we'll take a look at the outsole. And again, it's that rubberized EVA foam that they're using here. Now, it's really seen no changes from last year's version of the shoe. The design is the same. Even that cutout from the midfoot back into the heel area is the same. That gives you a little bit of extra cushion and some pop. It's almost a trampoline effect. As you strike the ground, it compresses and then recompresses to give you that little extra bounce back in that midfoot area. Now, I know some runners have reported that in the Mach 4, they felt like that rubberized EVA foam wore down maybe a little bit prematurely, but I have over 100 miles on these, and I think that they held up really well for me. Now, I am a bit of a smaller runner in terms of my frame and size, about 5'7", 131, 132 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. So for those of you that might have a little bit more mass than I do, you know, the potential is there that EVA, rubberized EVA foam might wear down maybe a little bit more for you, or depending on the type of surfaces that you're running on. But typically, for me, I have found that this rubberized EVA foam has done a good job and has held up pretty decently well over the miles. Now, before I move on and talk about the upper, just another quick note about the midsole and the outsole and the design. You can see in the heel that they have this swallowtail or split heel design, and you can tell where I strike the ground, which is pretty much for in my midfoot area because it's all black from that workout that I did down at my local track, and it's still pure white back in the heel. But I think if you're a heel striker, you're going to enjoy that little bit of a heel bevel that they have here that will make it nice and smooth as you move through your gait. But even as I was striking the ground in my midfoot and rolling through my gait, it still felt really smooth to run in. So let's take a look at the upper. Now here they're using a Creel Jacquard engineered mesh upper. So what all does that mean? Well, Creel Jacquard is not the material itself, but rather the methodology in which they had woven the fabric together to be able to create the upper material. So again, it's not the material, it's the method in which they wove the material together. Now the fit for me was perfect. Again, I ordered mine true to size, and I had just about that thumb's width between my longest toe, which happens to be my big toe, and the end of the shoe. So I was really impressed with that and really comfortable. And I found that to be true in the Mach 4 as well. So that didn't change. I found the fit of the Mach 4, the fit of the Mach 5 is pretty much right on par with one another. Very comfortable. I'm really enjoying this new material that they used. It's highly breathable, lots and lots of perforations across the toe box. Now, when I was out running in these, it was in the 80s. So it was like 81 degrees, something like that. And I was down on the high school track, which is black. So it can get pretty hot out there in the sun. And I found that these were really cool underfoot. You know, there are times when I've had running shoes out on in 80-degree weather, and I couldn't wait to get them off my feet because my feet were burning up. But that was not the case with these. These are really comfortable. I'm really enjoying the fit of the upper. I found I had plenty of room to be able to splay my toes up here. I got locked in and secure across the midfoot section of the shoe without any issues at all. Really not a whole lot going on. There's just a ton of perforation, so that just allows the air to flow. And then on the lateral side of the shoe, again, not a whole lot. They do have their Hoka logo across there, but I didn't feel like that inhibited the airflow at all. Still felt really comfortable. Then looking at the eyelet chain, it's a pretty standard eyelet chain, no big wow factor here. It does a nice job. The one thing that I will say is that sometimes in Hoka shoes, that lace enclosure system, I have to draw it pretty close together in order to get it cinched down. I didn't feel like I had to do that in these so far. Now we'll see over time whether or not this material does stretch or not. It doesn't feel like there's really any stretch to it, so I think we're going to be okay that way. But that is something that I have noticed in other Hoka shoes like the Rocket X. And even in the Mach 4, I felt like I had to cinch it up pretty close together, get that lace enclosure system almost overlapping one another at times, it felt like, in order to be able to get cinched in, locked in, secure across the midfoot. I didn't have that issue with these so far, so I'm enjoying the change that they made there. Now, taking a look at the tongue, a little bit of change here in the tongue. It's a bit thinner than what we had in the Mach 4. It's very thin, actually. There's not a whole lot of padding there, but they do have some padding right up here at the top where your lace is going to cut across the top of your midfoot. So that keeps it from cutting in at all. I didn't feel that. So it was really comfortable, even though it is pretty thin, and you can see just how thin that it is there. It is a gusseted tongue, so you can see that they have gusset material on both sides of the shoe, or both sides of the tongue. So it's not going to migrate around. I didn't have any issues with it kind of bunching up, or even bunching up when I was trying to put the shoe on, because that can sometimes happen as well. So I think they did a really good job with putting just the right amount of padding in the places that they needed to do in order to keep us comfortable with the tongue. Now looking at the padding around the heel collar and the tab, you know, it's a moderate amount. This is not a plush shoe, but it was plenty to keep me comfortable. I didn't have any hot spots up here on the collar, which I sometimes can have. But I found it to be really comfortable, and plenty of padding back here where your Achilles rests. And it does feature an Achilles heel flare here. And even though they don't have a pull tab, you can use that heel flare to be able to pull these on should you wish to do that. And then as I put this up on my shoulder and give it the pinch test, there's a lot of structure here, just like it was with the Mach 4. So plenty there to keep your heel in place, creating a nice heel pocket, and I didn't feel like I had any kind of heel slippage at all. Overall, I think Hoka did a great job with the updates to the Mach 5. It's a shoe that I can't wait to put on my feet again, and that's always a good sign. And for $140 for a daily trainer that I think can do just about everything you're going to want it to do, I think it's well worth the money. Now you'll want to check back later as I do some additional reviews of these as I put more miles on them, just to check out the durability and get a little better flavor for the types of different workouts that I'm going to put them through and see how they do. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Run Tall with Tim.